With the decline of games journalism, referring to the fact that all of the gaming magazines from my childhood are no longer available in print, I am somewhat confused now that I don't have my go-to sources for video game information. Nowadays, the big announcements and reveals are done through game showcase and direct broadcast events. My personal interest is to play the sequels and advancements from my childhood gaming days. Should a game with only an announcement trailer and no demo have more hype than the great game that has both? People see game companies folding, but still want to see game companies create quality games at the elevated standard they are used to. It's not always easy to do your own research, so it only makes sense to go off current hype than take a chance on something you've never heard of. I signed up for early access to the Chrono Odyssey beta. I was hyped for this game after seeing it announced at Summer Games Fest, so I was excited to try this once I was given access to the Steam playtest. Compared to other MMORPGs, it is extremely promising. If the genre is not to your liking, or if you get tired of the same gameplay, it might not be as exciting. My impression is that this game improves upon tried and true mechanics, like resource gathering and crafting, but then blows everything out of the water with its focus on smooth combat animations and very good UE5 graphics, when you ignore the drawing distance glitching. Again, this is designed to be played with many other people in the same world, so I don't expect Elden Ring visuals, but it is definitely better than many other games. Overall, I still think this game can fail because I am a skeptic, and this is Chrono Studios' debut game release. Though I must say, I am secretly hoping for this game to succeed. I heard it was coming out on PS5, and since I usually do multiplayer games on that console, that was an immediate wish list. So I hope they can clear out the kinks from the beta and deliver something solid because the ceiling on this game is sky high. You could compare what others have to say about this game, and this will help you make an informed purchasing decision. I must say, compared to the Neo 3 Alpha demo, that is scheduled for a 2026 release, Chrono Odyssey as a beta slash demo slash playtest is not good. In fact, the online outrage could be justified if pre-release versions actually mattered. I believe this proves why gaming showcases and company directs can have value, because I used to ignore these and be a super casual gamer that just went off of general, unfocused hype. All the companies that want to create the top-selling, most popular game will try to garner as much positive attention as possible. So I can fill the gap of not having a gaming magazine tell me what to get excited for by gaining the knowledge I want to buy a game. I decided to track my hype for games following these gaming showcase events and see how my hype was influenced by first impression trailers, possible demo playtesting, and then post-release excitement. I'm curious to see how much customer knowledge of a game matters to its potential success. For example, after the trailer announcement, my hype for Chrono Odyssey was about an 86. Very excited, and potentially a Game of the Year contender. However, after the beta playtest and comparing my findings with other reviews that also participated in the playtest, my hype decreased to 60 or below. Looking forward to the devs living up to the promise of an A+ MMO, but the beta playtest shows that it is currently not ready. On release, it would be lucky to be acceptable. I am no longer looking forward to pre-ordering this game, but I will keep my eye on this. Make what you want out of these numbers. I'm taking a gamble based on the little information I'm given about these newly introduced games and assigned a grade that takes into account my personal experiences, such as company reputation, genre bias, and wildcard prediction. Furthermore, my individual opinion wouldn't be held in higher regard than even a developer's opinion about their preferred games. What matters is the overall trend of like versus dislike of games by the people that paid for the created product. What also matters is that today's customers have much more knowledge and even low-level discussions available at their fingertips compared to the 90s gaming magazines. This should be a strength for AAA companies because these now obsolete media relics could only offer a few printed pages and some still images once a month. But unfortunately, we have recently seen too many instances of disappointing releases with bad receptions. Observing current trends, it seems that game companies would be better off taking advantage of the cheaper access to their content instead of attacking customers' decades long practices of discussing video games with each other. Then there is Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which looked like another semi honorable tribute attempt looking at the trailer. But then playing the demo, it is as good as any 2D Ninja Gaiden ever released. I am saddened that this game could not be pre-ordered, especially since I wanted to wishlist it and see the price. On July 31st, the day the game was supposed to release, I finally saw the sale price and got a notification that the game was finally released. I must say I am pleased with the $25 price tag, and I'm very confident it is worth the money. That's like $5 to $10 per hour of gameplay. I'm confident in buying this one because the nostalgia and new additions were satisfactory. However, I think more people would be excited if they saw the low price tag sooner. A different example is Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers. The trailer for Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers at the 2025 Summer Game Fest caught the attention of many. I personally rated my hype for this game at 78 out of 100 because I thought it stood out from the other trailer announcements. This led me to pre-order the game. I did not see a demo for this game or any other information, positive or negative, until release day. I immediately knew to purchase the PS5 version because even though the PC hardware gets the newest innovations, PC ports of video games are not always optimized. I believe PC games will exist for 100 years, and the hardware coding will still fall behind console ports for the most part, but that discussion is for a different time. Thankfully, I had no issues running this game on regular PS5 and could focus on more advanced parts of the game ratings. But look at the ratings. Very bad by anyone's standards. The fact that over 20,000 players wanted to leave Steam reviews without playing the full game shows how important opinions have become. These people don't find it acceptable to have a buggy release. This will increase the standard of future game releases because companies may fear angering their customer base in this way. I will give them some credit. Even though I didn't have this issue, it is possible to make the game look much worse just by selecting one of the other graphics modes. It seems optimized FPS is the default and only acceptable option, so I may have lucked out there. I also had sharpness and field of view maxed out to make sure to test the limits of my PS5 version. Plus, I hate wall glitching in video games, and having epic combat battles with walls in between the fighters really cheapens the experience. Despite all the negativity, I still think this game is very enjoyable. I think it will land in the mid-70s to mid-80s for the final score. A worthwhile entry amongst truly bad releases. I'm only 15 hours into this game, but for $50, I only paid $3.50 per hour of game time so far, and I still feel like I'm at the beginning. Not to mention the free DLC the developers are throwing in to make up for the launch day issues I experienced. Unfortunately, if game developers don't prioritize quality products, gamers will win because they have a huge backlog of games that set the standard they hold new releases to. It's just a matter of whether or not a company even cares about appeasing their audience. Honestly, I don't see most gamers putting in the effort to research indie games that don't have the same advertising resources. The new trend by gaming companies to not allow consumers to own their games and offer huge cloud on-demand libraries of previous releases highlights the difference in priorities between producer and consumer. In conclusion, since trailers can be rated as well as what a game company describes as a final product, and since game companies desire for positive hype to exist for an unfinished product, it should be accepted on internet discussions that the entire development cycle of a video game can be rated and discussed on the internet. People are more expressly critical of games, desire to be more informed about upcoming releases, and have become cultured to the point where even a company's business practices affect how a game is received. If you would like to see more videos, be sure to subscribe for future video updates.